and my life was in dismay. For among evil forces in which I played, guns and ammunition were my chosen way of life. With God-fearing people I chose to strive. For all of the lives that are taken, they can never be replaced. But still Jaja chose to remember my face. Though I never lived like he wanted, I'm still mindful of what he taught me. So now I beg and plead, I'm on my bending knees. 'Cause Father, you rescued me. I've got the scars to show. I barely made it a long life.
That's Dwayne Stevenson. I actually was in a Jamaican restaurant and I heard this song playing, so I went and asked the guy who was playing it, what's the artist's name? He told me, so I came home, looked him up, and here we are. This song is beautiful. First time I've heard it in a Jamaican restaurant, and here I am listening to it. It's an amazing song. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So tonight's scripture reading, we're going to look at Genesis chapter 9, verse 20, 22 and 23. So we're going to dive right in. Here we go. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. Now context, Noah is drunk and he's sleeping in a tent naked. Ham, the father of Canaan, goes in and sees Noah's nakedness and goes out and boasts to his brothers about seeing his father nakedness. Now, when Noah wakes up, he puts a curse on Canaan, the son of Ham. But this is not about the curse. I don't want to focus on that. What I want us to focus on is nakedness, right? We want to focus on Ham seeing the nakedness of his father and then going out and boasting to his brothers about seeing his father naked. Now, what I did was this, folks. I looked up the word naked and I went to my thesaurus and I pulled up the synonyms of nakedness. So because when Noah comes to, the next day he's hungover, whatever it is, he comes to and he puts a curse on the son of Ham, Canaan. And Canaan means, in its original tongue, the word Canaan means to be humiliated or to be humbled, to be humiliated. So he said that Canaan will be a servant upon servants to others. But again, I don't want to focus on the curse. I want to focus on why did Noah choose to put such a strict curse upon the grandson, his grandson, which was Ham's son. Why would Noah, did he over-exaggerate? Did he, was it justified? Was it called for? But let's look at the word naked so we can understand why. The word naked means, it's synonyms or synonymous with defenseless. So when we read this, we can say Ham saw the defenselessness of his father. Instead of the word naked, we could use the word defenselessness. So his father was defenseless. Then he goes out and tells others, boasts to others. We could say helpless. Another word for nakedness is helpless, according to my thesaurus. So we could say Ham saw his father in a helpless state. Another word for nakedness, according to the thesaurus, is openness. So we could say Ham seen his father's openness. His father was open. Another word is bare. Another word is vulnerable. So in other words, Ham seen his father in a vulnerable condition. Ham saw his father vulnerability and went out and told others. We can say another word for nakedness is exposed. So we can say Ham seeing his father exposed went out and told others. Betrayal. Another word for nakedness is betrayal. So we can say Ham seen his father's nakedness and betrayed his father's nakedness by discussing it to others. Another word is unveiling, unmasking, peril. The word peril also means dangerous. So susceptible. So we see the word for nakedness is also another word, susceptible. So Ham, seeing his father being susceptible, went out and told others. Liability, to lay open, jeopardize. These are other synonyms for nakedness. Jeopardize, disclose, hazard, give away. The point of this is this, folks. This is why the curse was put on Canaan. Because what Ham did was he seen his father in a vulnerable position, in a liable position, in a position that left him exposed. And he went out and betrayed his father's shame to others. Whereas, look at this. Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it up on their shoulders, and went backwards and covered the nakedness, the shame of their father. And their faces were backward. They didn't look. The moral of it is this, folks. If someone loves you, a family member, a friend, a significant other, if someone loves you and they're in your life, if someone is in your life and they see you in a moment of weakness, here, now is in a moment of weakness. He is not at his best. He is drunk and naked in a tent. He is not in his best glorious moment. If someone sees you make a fault, see a human flaw in you, see your flaw, and they choose to go and discuss that or disclose that or to make bare and to show that to others, that person does not care about you. That person does not love you. That person does not have your best interests at heart. Because here you have the other two sons, which is Shem and Japheth. They took a cover, a garment, a sheet, a blanket, and they turned their back towards his nakedness, meaning they didn't even want to see him in that state of vulnerability, of susceptibility. And they covered, the word covered, they covered him. That means if someone loves you and see your flaw, they will cover that, meaning they won't embarrass you. They won't humiliate you. They won't use a weakness in your humanity against you by making it public. Imagine if you're outside and somehow by chance you were stripped naked. Just imagine what you would be humiliated. You would be embarrassed. You'd run. You would hide. You'd try to find something to cover yourself up. When someone is in your life and they disclose your human frailties, your human infirmities, when they see or they know a secret, know your secret, and they choose to make publicize your secrets, these people are not people that care about you. These people are not people that you want to keep around you. Because here, now we'll put a curse upon Canaan, the grandson of Ham. And this would be what's called generational sin. Because the father is Ham who committed the act, but the sin or the curse was placed upon his grandson, which is the next generation. So here we have the sins of the father being visited upon the generation of the son. Which we read about in Exodus, visiting the iniquities of the father upon the third, fourth, and fifth generation. So the interesting thing here, the takeaway, the moral, the lesson here, folks, is this: that if you care about someone, you don't disclose their moments of weakness. Here was a moment of weakness of Noah's drunkenness. It was a moment of weakness. You don't see a person or a friend in a vulnerable state and publicize that. You don't gossip that gospel. You don't make public that. You don't enunciate that. If you care about the person, you cover that. You keep that, because you don't want to ruin a person's reputation because of a moment of weakness, because we're all fallible. All mankind is fallible. No one is perfect. No one is without error of judgment and or mistakes. So here, the two sons, they didn't even walk in forwards. They walked in with their back towards their father, and they covered him with a garment, as so not to even see his shame. So sometimes if you care about someone and you realize that this person is making mistakes, rather than publicizing it, you can help them through that, but you don't need to disclose that to the public to humiliate, ridicule, or derive any kind of derision. And this is what Ham did to his father. He publicized his shame and brought a curse upon his generation. If you know a man is a man of God, and this and now we're not saying that you are to let people get away with living a double life, a hypocritic lifestyle. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a moment of weakness, a moment of miscalculation or some malpractice, a moment. Not a routine of hypocrisy, but a moment. If you care about that person, your job is not to publicize their moments of shame. Rather, you are to protect that person. You are to protect their reputation. You are to protect their legacy. You are to protect their name. If you are, in this case, they were sons. They weren't just friends, colleagues, associates, co-workers. They were sons. These were his sons. So if you have an intimate relationship with someone and you have a proximity, a very close relationship, and there is a caring, a love, a compassion, you are not to disclose and publicize the momentary weaknesses and human fallibilities of your counterpart. Your job as their associate, or again, their family or their next of kin, is to protect their reputation. Here, Ham sought to destroy the reputation of his father. How many of us are doing that today? Destroying the reputation of our loved ones, destroying the reputation of our friends, destroying the reputations of our fellow man, our brothers, our sisters, destroying the reputations by means of libel, slander. How many? If you care about the person or people in your lives, you do not seek to find their Achilles heel and then publicize that and then disclose that and then announce oratory speech on that. You do not do that to ones you care about. The hams that are out there. You be the Shem and the Japhet, and you cover that. Because the reality is, once again, a man's deeds, great deeds, could outweigh his moments of weaknesses. And if a man such as Noah, who built the ark, he built the ark. That's what Noah's legacy is. He replenished the earth with 2 kinds of each animal. We know the biblical story of Noah's ark. That is a renowned legacy of Noah. But there are those who will try to tarnish your great deeds and your great work with a moment of weakness, with some form of misstep, mistake, and misjudgment on your part. They will seek to glamorize that, glorify that. They will when I was in theological seminary, we used to say, the professor used to say, you major in your minor and you minor in what is major. You major in what is minor. In other words, the small things you magnify and the large things you minimize. So here we have a man of Noah's caliber, of his reputable reputation, of a giant of the Bible, a lion of his time, Noah's ark. But we're going to minimize in what is major. And we're going to maximize in what is minor moments of weakness, hams. The hams of the world. I could have leaped mountains, swam oceans, crossed the seas, conquered millions. But I got drunk and was laying in a tent exposed. And that's going to be my legacy. That's the slander, the libel, that's what's going to be used to describe my legacy. My minor mistake, but my major will be minimized. Till next time, folks, Mark here, bringing the word. I hope this message reaches somebody and a lesson is taken from this story. Till next time, peace.